extra GMS. Let me log in. So today what we'll do is we'll see how to call a report in Studio. Okay.
Okay.
For that,
Okay.
what component we use is that we will see. But first, let me. It says, you know how to create a report?
Yeah.
Create
Yes.
custom report, right? And then, yep, that's one. Let me give the name int test underscore rpt. It has to be always advanced, and it has to be always web service enabled, right? Say, let me keep as a report on supplier invoice, a random one, because our stuff is to fetch the data. Okay, say I want to know okay, it can be any report. This is based on the requirement and company. And where is this? Whatever, right? And then let me do okay and run this. What it is saying, we'll have some, for example, prompts. Company. Say has how many? That's 4,000 rows. Let me create. So you guys you're from HCM, right? So let's create that HCM one so that you can relate to it.
I'm from integration actually.
Yeah, but HCM background, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Active and terminated. You might be knowing about this all-time favorite data source.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So employee ID is one, and I will take the legal name as second. Then we say date of birth. Say hire date. Right, and that's it. Let me put a filter that company is equal to GMS USA. And then, okay. So the alert it is giving is that this tag name is becoming too long. That's why. Okay, run. So now this is giving 270. That's fine. Okay. And then share and advance. Let me see. Yep, that's fine. Okay. So I'll copy this report name, copy text, and studio. Here it is. Okay. Are you able to see the studio?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Now to call a report, right? The component that we use is what's the component? Do you know?
Yes, it is in launch parameters we used to
No.
call.
No need.
Yeah, 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 yes. Sorry.
Directly here. So if you see here, Workday outrest, right? There is a service here, which you see a report service. Yep, this one.
Yes, yes,
No need to
yes.
do this. It will automatically come here. So you drag and drop this Workday outrest. Now it's saying the extra path. From here, you have to select the report. Just click on this R and select the tenant which you are using, web service enabled, and then just write the name of your report and
Okay.
it will select. Click on next and report alias you have to give. You can give what, just RPT, whatever you want to give, and finish. Now it automatically creates this one.
Okay.
Now if I go to this report service, it already created automatically. So no need to do this. It will automatically create.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now what I will do is I will connect my start here to this one. And let me see, what do I have? If I have any launch parameter, let me delete that. Control S, Workday out. So I will connect it to here, and in the right step, I'll make it delete log. Let me do a log here, which is doing the message content and nothing else, right? Yep. So whatever is the output of this report, right? This component, what it will do is it will call that report, and then whatever data it will get the XML, right? And I am printing that XML here just for you to show. Okay, I will delete others. And let's do one thing more. I can, what's there in this? This is info, that's fine. Let's see another component, which is called store step, right? So what store step does, store step create a file and put it on the integration event. Right now, if you see, whenever we are running our integrations, it is
It
printing
will
in the
create
log.
an output.
It's just printing in the log, which is not a deliverable, meaning nobody sees the log apart from the integration team, right?
Yeah.
Let's say if you
Yes.
have to generate a file, this is the way you do the store step. Now, again, you see what's the input to the store? Input is the message, and message is what is the output of this report. So what it is doing is it will fetch that report. Now you can put here the title. Title is the name of the file, and you can say whatever you want to give, report output dot xml or whatever. Yeah, let me say do this. Expires in is, again, it's like the document retention policy.
Okay.
You can put P7D, which means, so if I put it like this, P1D, it means the document, the file which will be there, can only be downloaded from the tenant only for
In
one
one
day.
day.
After that, it will expire. You will not be able to download.
Okay.
Okay, and again, it has is attachment. We don't touch all that stuff. It is just that we give the name, and that's it. Now I'm saving it. So what this is now doing is we have a Workday out rest component, and the way to remember is Workday out rest has rest, R for report, R for rest. So that means to call a Workday report, you use the component Workday out rest. Right. So this one was covered in the last class, that
Okay.
it is error handling. So
Okay.
every async mediation will have a send error component, which
Okay.
what it will do is if there is any error in any of these two component,
Okay.
rather than the message going backward and going to
Mm-hmm.
global error handler, it will get caught here, and
Okay.
then whatever flow is there for send error, it's going to this part. And if you
Okay.
see here, it is saying error, and summary is error in async mediation, and
Okay.
context dot error message gives the workday delivered error message. So whatever
Okay.
error message was there, it will come up. Normal flow is a normal straight flow, which will be the end saying configuration completed.
Okay. 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 We know.
So all the workday reports are by
Okay.
default REST.
Okay.
Now, when I say REST means it's a single URL. It doesn't have a payload, in the sense it's just like a website. You have to call that in your browser and you will get the
Okay.
data. No
No,
extra,
obvious.
no
Yes.
extra coding is needed for that, right? You give,
Okay.
only thing is username and password, like the credential or the security. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else. But SOAP is something where you have a request message and you have a proper WSDL, which is a link. So you pass your message to that link, and that link will then give you the response back. SOAP is when we have to use the Workday delivered web services. Those are by default SOAP. And for that,
Okay.
we have Workday out SOAP as the component. Now we will see it. Once we do the Workday out SOAP, you will see,
Okay, payload, about payload.
right, about when we'll do the SOAP web services. That's when that will come up.
Okay, great, great, great.
Okay.
Yep. So now let me deploy this and run. What will happen? Let's see. So project test studio 1 contains error. What is the error? Ah, this file has an error. Okay, now let me deploy. Deployed. Now let me see our studio here. Int sys int test. Yeah, so that's the one. Isn't it test underscore demo underscore one? Is it the one? Let me delete this. Okay, this is the one. It has nothing here. That's fine. Integration launch. So you see there, now you have the output file, and this output file is having the name report output.xml. So if I download that and I open it, okay, I don't have. So we'll open this. Now I will have to check which, where is this my word. But yeah, let's see the the log file. Log file will have the same content. Okay, so where is it? Yeah, here it is. This whole stuff is the content of the file, log output,
Yes.
right? So it is all that XML. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that's how you call your report. Now, again, one more thing here is, let's do this. Where is this one? What was our report name? Test
Test
RPT.
report.
Yeah, this one. Now, what I was saying was our report has no prompt, right? Meaning it's a straight report. You just run it and you gets the data. But what if it has a launch parameter? Let's do that stuff. I just added a prompt of company. So that means if I have to run this report, it will ask me for the prompt, right? Now, how will this work in Studio, right? So let's see that. Now, since I've updated the report, I will go again here and again select my report. INT test report one. Now you see the difference. Right now, what you're seeing is just the extra paths and RPT, right? Now here, when
Yeah.
I'll do next and finish, it will. Why didn't it change? Did I give the right name? INT test report one. I think I will have to first delete it. So you go here, start here, report service, delete it, come here and also cancel, delete it, again do the report and do GMS INT test. Next, report alias is report and say finish. Okay, I think because we have given here a default, that's why. Edit prompts rather than specify default value. Say must have a value, which is that field default value. Yes, yes, Right. Okay. Now let me come here. Where is this? Delete. Workday outrest. Delete it. Bring it again. Okay. Why I'm wondering why is it not showing the
Prompt.
right? So for prompt you have something like question mark, and then you get that. It should come automatically. I'm not sure why is it not coming here, but I'll let you know. But from a concept perspective, are you clear about this? About the store step, which is for extracting or generating the file, right?
So stored step is basically saving the output of the report, which is in the log file,
No,
which
yeah,
we got from Workday Outrest.
yeah. So this one doesn't mean that it will only give you the output of Workday outrest. For store, you can whatever will be the input. Again, you see here the properties, advanced tab,
Message.
message. Whatever you will put here. Say if you put a variable and you give the variable name, store step will generate a file with that content.
So in this example, if you click on Workday Outrest,
Yeah.
and
So Workday outrest by default it doesn't show here, but because it
it's a
gives you the data,
message.
right? It gives you the data. It puts that data into the message,
Okay, okay,
right?
yeah.
So that's this. And let's do another stuff here. Similar to this, sometimes your vendor says that yesterday the recording is important, Parag, because we did the file based thing as well, that how to retrieve file. So there is a component called get event documents, and that's how you get the file from an SFTP or something, right? Do see that
Okay,
recording.
sure.
But now today we are doing, say if there is a use case of calling an API, the vendor says instead of SFTP, I will give you this API, right? So for that, we have a different component, which is HTTP out, this one, right? Now here, what you do is you have to specify an endpoint and the method. In this, all detail will be provided by the vendor. And in the advanced tab, you have the, where is that? No, nothing here. You have to give this. And then when you put your mouse on this, you have the basic authentication. HTTP properties where you store your key, password, and all that, but this is not needed. Delete. You have to just put your mouse on this one. Create REST binding. This is basic auth. You click on that basic auth and it will ask you username, password. This is where you give that, and the link you give it here
Endpoint and method you will give it here.
in the endpoint here, right? Say endpoint will be something like this, right? Slash 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 whatever x dot y dot something, whatever.
So what is this endpoint basically?
This is, let
URL.
me say, okay, open APIs. Let me check if I can get something. Open exchange dates. Get your app ID. I think you have to make an account here. But it's like the vendor will give you an URL, right? That whenever you will call that URL in the browser using
Okay.
this user ID password, you will get the data. Right?
So
It's a basic a web service.
we can do for both SOAP and trust calls the same method.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have an example here, but let me see if I have any in my this one. No, 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 no. Yeah, this one I has. This is again for currency rate. So if you see here, here it is, my stuff. What we are doing is the URL, I'm not hard coding it. This URL is coming from my launch parameters. Sorry, the attributes. Here it is. The link which the vendor has provided. I have my user ID, I have my password, all set up as attributes. In the eval, I'm fetching those attributes, URL, user ID, password. And then in this one, HTTP out component, I am specifying that URL. HTTP method, by default, it is post.
Uh,
No, it's not launch,
so yeah,
it's the
it's
services.
services. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the third is this HTTP out.
Right, HTTP out component, which the name I have changed, but yes, it is
Okay.
HTTP out with basic auth, where again I'm passing the variables
And
as this
endpoint they need to give us, right?
endpoint and the credentials,
The
user ID
For
password.
example, in our case, it is HTTP basic auth. So the
Yes,
password and user ID they will give.
right. And when you
Yeah.
pass this, it will like in the HTTP that Workday outrest, you got the XML. In this case, you might get, depending on how they have set it up, you might get a JSON, you might get a CSV, you might get XML. So
HTML. This is the case with my case right now. I'm dealing with.
yeah, that I have never
Yes,
seen. HTML is something which is very difficult to, don't have a
yes,
component to handle HTML.
yes,
So
yes. The same problem I'm facing right now. And I
yeah,
have been working on this since last 4 days, but I couldn't sort it out.
I if I would have been the lead on that project, I would have pushed back to the vendor that this is something
Yes,
is we cannot.
actually, I requested my lead to do the same, but don't know
Hmm.
why he is rather not confident. We have to go back and doing all the stuff will
He
take time.
he
So he is
has worked
asking
a
me.
background or not?
Yes, he has worked with background.
Then I'm surprised.
Yes, yes. Well, and not only you, me, and most of my friends whom I asked about the same were surprised.
HTML is not a recommended or a very stuff, right? It is normally if you see anywhere when you have to connect and all that, JSON, XML,
Actually,
all
Sean,
these
what
are
happened? Actually, what happened is HTML is almost equal to XML. So if that HTML is proper, well formed, then I could have done converted as it behaves like XML. I could have done use it with other components. But the HTML over there is not well formed.
yep,
There it have few open tags, and that open tags were not letting it to go forward in the like other component.
right,
That's what exactly happening. So I have to strip out that part which I wanted, but I couldn't. I don't know how to do it, and I was just researching on it.
right. And then
Yes.
what I wanted to show you was that for testing this, right? So there is this tool called Postman. Okay, it is an API platform. It's a free open source one.
Yes, I did
Uh,
all this.
I have to sign in. I thought I have this here. Have it? I have it. Luckily.
So what it
Ah,
does, Postman?
so it is like say your vendor has given you that API, right?
Yeah.
Now, before calling it in Workday, how will you
We
test
have
it?
to.
So this
Yes.
is that place where you can put your URL here, right?
Okay.
And select a method like post. So it is similar to this. If you see here, we have the HTTP method as post, and
Yeah.
then you have given the endpoint, right? So same thing
Okay.
here, you give the endpoint, you select the method as post, and then you have authorization. You select the basic auth, you give the
Okay.
username and password,
Okay.
and then just click on send, and it will give you the data. So if there is any error, you can reach out to the vendor saying, I'm not able to get the data, what could be wrong and all that.
Okay.
And in that data we will get like something like 200k, 400k, 500k, etc. If it is 200k in the series of 200, then it is fine, it is going good. If it is like 400, the error is with our side, and if it is above 500, the error is on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So, but you will get the data here. Whatever in the
yes.
response, you will get the
But
data.
I think that we don't get the complete data. We get only few records, 100 to 200.
Yeah, that depends again on
Yes,
the
yes,
API. And sometimes there are few other parameters which we have to select. Say sometimes
yes.
response type or some client ID or something. For that, Workday provides a component called set headers, which you have to do before the calling of the web service, right? So in the set headers, if you go to the common and headers, you can add more, right? Whatever they want, they will specify that. Content type is what application JSON. So you have to just write it. It is all text field, right? What it is doing
So
is it is just setting it up for the next component. That's it. Nothing else.
okay. So Postman is basically an external tool
Right. Just to
that
verify.
that okay, that we like install in our system, or it is like
Yeah, yeah.
online.
There are two both the versions.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
downloadable exe file as well, which you can install, and it's a Chrome plugin as well, which you can directly do.
Okay.
Right, very commonly used. You can even find YouTube videos,
Okay.
2-3 minutes, and you will be very simple, very good user interface. So to just try it and you will get it. Okay. So what
Yes,
I was
Yes.
saying was, if there are any other extra things to be set, those are done using the set headers, right? Like content type is application JSON, meaning the output is JSON. This is all provided by the vendor. Whoever is the source of that link can will provide you that detail. So
I
that's
just
why,
got
yeah,
I just got something like a URL and a token.
right. So that is the token, client ID or client secret or something like that. Everything
Yes.
will come up here.
Okay, we can
And
view here.
yeah, and then sometimes if it's not REST, if it's SOAP, meaning you have to pass a payload, right? A request message, then you have to put it in the right step. So in the right step, if you see here, this is the payload for that.
Okay,
Sometimes if it's not a REST URL and it needs that you pass, send something and then you will get something. This is how we do it. We do a right step before this, before that set
yeah,
header if needed, then right step, and then call that API. Now you will get all that details. Whoever is the provider of that URL will let you know that it is just a URL. That's it. No request message. And if there is, they will specify. So
Okay.
no worries on that part. The technical point of contact from the other side will provide you all that details.
Okay.
Okay. Even the best way is to have a call with them and say, okay, you have provided me this. Can you help me in trying this out on Postman? And everybody knows Postman. It's an open source tool. Everybody uses that. And then whatever you do there, you have to just replicate it here. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Shyam, you
Yeah.
just said that in the right component we have to give the payload,
Yep.
and this is what we give while selecting the web services. We used to create request, and that request we have to paste it here, isn't it?
Yes. It's either write step or sometimes we also use XSLT steps to do that.
Okay, okay, sir.
That we will see. Okay.
Right, sir.
Okay. What else? So if you see this one, let's see this part till here. This one, we are doing the start here and we are fetching the attributes here, right? Then I'm doing the set headers to setting up the special requirements for that API. Content type is application JSON. Then I am passing the request, right? Whatever vendor has told me that you pass this request and you will get the data. So I'm passing this to this URL which they have provided with the basic authentication user ID password. Now the output of this is a JSON, right? So the main thing in Workday Studio is whatever you get, first thing is to convert it into XML. So since we are getting JSON, I have a JSON to XML converter.
Whether the inform
You will,
output from.
they will provide it. If not, Postman will give you that output. So you will get to know it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And after that, this is a local out stuff. Let's see this local out, local in concept here, right? Aware, but then Parag, if you see this, right, normally if we start doing the assembly, it will be a long horizontal line, right? In order to
Yeah.
put breaks in between, a logical breaks that, okay, from here to here should this, and then to the next line, it should go to the next line here, right? So what we do is we just put a local out here, and this is a local in, and we connect
Okay.
them internally, not via an arrow, but internally, not like this. We do
Okay.
it, we do it on the component properties. Okay, now let me show you here. Right, so slow. Okay, so we have seen this part. Let me delete this. Now, say after put integration message, there is another stuff I have here. Right, I have another, say, async and another put integration message here, which are connected. Okay. Now say I could have done this here as well. Like it can be here as well, right? But it is going so long. You have to use the scroll bar to go, right? So in order to break
Yeah.
that functionality, what we do is we put a local out there and local in here, right? So local, there are two components, both out and in. So out you put it here and in you put here.
Okay.
Okay. So then connect these two and connect this one to that, like this. Okay. And first do a save, right? Now what you will do is this local out, it is giving you a red cross, right? Meaning that it is not connected to anything. Please connect it. That's the Workday way of saying it, right? And you see
Okay.
the end point here, which is saying red mark here. That means that you have to configure this because the studio doesn't know where should it go after this. Okay. So
Okay.
how we do it is we now have to give a local in. Now, what's the local in is this so subroutine here, right? Let me
Yeah.
change the name here, and I will put here input. Okay, so I have to connect this call subroutine to this input. How I will do it is I will click here this arrow, and it will
Okay.
open up all the studio projects I have. What I will have to do is I will have to search mine, which is INT Test Studio. Where is it? This one. And it will show all the local ins you have in your project. Right now I have only this subroutine here. Next and finish. Nope, it will again be wrong. Why? Because I have changed the name but I didn't save it. So once it is
Okay.
saved, now again I will go there, int test. Now it should
Yeah. Yeah.
input, right? Next and finish. Now if I do control save, that cross mark should go,
Yes.
right? So it's gone now. Yep. Now how to know after this local out? Say here in this studio you have 100 of local outs, local ins, right? Now you want to know which one this process will go to. After this, what will happen? So what you do is you do a right click and do declaration in workspace. Now you see this one has a black mark, like whatever I click, it has a black outline automatically comes up. Yeah. Now when I
Yeah.
do this declaration in workspace, you see the black line will change from here to this one because that's how they are connected. So I will say where in workspace is this local out connected to? That's is defined by this, and it goes there. So that means okay, this is these are connected. Yep.
Yeah.
It is used to do a logical break plus a programming functionality, right? A normal stuff as you do in C plus plus, right? Let me show you if it has here. Okay. What I normally do is, and it depends from, again, your programming mind might work different way. There are different ways of doing it. Say first component will be start here. After that, you put local out. Then you put another local out. Then you put another local out. And then you connect them. Okay. This is my first line of the project. So what it is doing is say this is start here. Then I will say this one is read or say call API. Okay. Process
Okay.
data. Then say generate log file. Okay. So now what I'm doing here is I have connected multiple sub programs here, right? So this is
Okay.
start here. After it, what will happen? It will go to this local out. Now this local out should have a corresponding local in, right? So what I will
Yeah.
do is I will have another swim lane, which will have a local in there, and it will only, what it will do is it will only call that API, get the data. That's it. So that functionality will end here, right?
Okay.
Then it will again come back here and it will go to the next one, process data. Again, it will see what is the logical thing there. It will go to that local in, and then there I will have my components which will process that data, read the data from that API and do some processing there. Once that is done, come back here, and then it will go to the next component. Then it is generate log file. It will find the corresponding local in and then do that store step and all that stuff. So that's how normally I have seen developers breaking their functionality, right? So this first
Okay.
line will tell you, okay, what this program is doing. It is starting here, then it is first calling the API or say reading the input file, processing the data, generating log file. So that's how you divide it into submodules. Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the basic of local out, local in, workday out rest, HTTP out, store step, and on Monday we will do the workday out SOAP, which is for calling workday web services. And after that we will do the router splitter, and then we will start doing our use cases, the practical use cases where then you will have to apply all this concept and start doing stuff.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, you drag and drop and then you put whatever things you want to write here, you do whatever.
Okay. All the things here like a rectangle helps me do the same.
Yeah,
They just comment it. Okay, great, great, great.
this is all comment and you can just change the the format and all that stuff, color, whatever you want.
Okay, sorry, Steven.
No worries, no worries. I will say try it out because
Yes, yes.
say if to tell you frankly, there are
In
so
fact,
many
in fact, I would
components.
have tried.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, I would have tried you before asking you, but
No, no, that's perfectly fine. What I'm saying is, you see, there are so many components, right? We will not be able to do each one of them like we are doing it, right? So my thing is, I will show you all the commonly used components which will be used in any integration. There are many which are never used, very rare use case. Even I have not used all of them, right? So if you get requirement, you want to know about it. So yeah, but good that you asked this. It's no harm in asking.
okay. And one more thing, Sean, by the definition, we know what exactly is the developer and a tester. But
Which
what
one?
are developer and tester?
Developer and tester.
Yes, for studio.
Ah, you mean to say
By role.
debug?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, we will see that.
Okay, okay.
But right now, since we are doing components only, once we have a good program built, we will see the debugger how that works.